Welcome to this edition of Tacoma Report. I'm Anita Gallagher. The city, along with a host of community partners, kicked off October's Domestic Violence Awareness Month with the Courage to Break the Silence rally on October 3rd. More than 100 people gathered at Tollefson Plaza to hear remarks from Mayor Marilyn Strickland, Deputy Mayor Victoria Woodards, and men in leadership about the city's initiative and the importance of working together to end domestic violence.
And this year we launched a campaign for men to speak out against domestic violence, because so often men in our community are just the abusers, but they sit around with their friends and tolerate the behavior and the conversation. And so to have men stand up against domestic violence and say, it's not okay. You can't do that. You can't talk to our women like that. We won't accept it.
We know that domestic violence impacts all of us, regardless of our color, our sexual orientation, our gender identity, our national origin, our socioeconomic status, whether we live in the North End or the East Side. It affects all of us.
Having courage to end domestic violence means being open to admit that domestic violence has been our own experience, if that's the case, so that people in our family can begin talking about it and dealing with it so that it never happens again.
This topic maybe feels a little weird, maybe feels unfortunate or unpleasant to talk about, but it's in some ways just like any other conversation. It's about, these are people that you care about, and I care about you, and I need you to help end this. This is an epidemic in our community. We can talk to our friends about Ebola and the epidemic and the fear that's there, but this is one that's been here, and it will continue unless we do something about it.
The City of Tacoma's Courage Initiative and initiatives against domestic violence are really important, and it's really important that the city be public about the issue of domestic violence. So we're so happy to be partnering with them.
We need to prevent domestic violence, and it is a community problem. It's not just a women's issue, it's a community issue. And so it takes everyone in the community to be involved to stop domestic violence.
If you couldn't make the rally, there are many other events scheduled throughout the month to raise awareness. One event in particular is No Boundaries: Domestic Violence in the World and at Home. The World Affairs Council Tacoma and the city are partnering to offer the free special presentation that provides a global and local perspective on domestic violence and what can be done to address the epidemic from 4 experts: Professors Barbara Lainers and Therese Saliba from Evergreen State College, Marisol Melendez, Program Director at Catherine's Place, and Susan Adams from the Crystal Judson Family Justice Center are all scheduled to speak. While you're marking your calendar to participate in the domestic violence awareness events, also mark your calendar for October 18th. If you wanted to change the look and feel of your home and even save some money, Tacoma Power can help. The lighting experts at the utility can show you ways to light up your home and yard with style and efficiency. Tacoma Power is presenting a workshop Saturday, October 18th at Tacoma's Enviro House to show how highly efficient LED lighting can help brighten your surroundings. The experts will share ways to optimize good lighting design to increase the comfort and safety of your home. You can learn about the newest in LED lighting choices and how they can be used with timers, sensors, and dimmers. It's free, but those interested should register by calling the Enviro House. The Enviro House is also a great resource for learning how to keep leaves out of your storm drains. Help prevent flooding in your neighborhood by clearing leaves from storm drains, sidewalks, and curbs in any area between your sidewalk and the street. You can use leaves as compost in your garden, place leaves in your brown yard waste container for pickup, or take leaves and yard waste to the Tacoma Recovery and Transfer Center. There's no additional fee for Tacoma residential customers. And remember, sweeping leaves into the street is prohibited, as street sweepers won't pick up leaf piles. City Manager T.C. Broadnax will join me in the studio to talk about the city's proposed budget when we come back from a short break. Welcome back to Tacoma Report. Joining me now is City Manager T.C. Broadnax to talk about the city's proposed 2015-2016 biennial budget. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us what Tacoma might see in the next biennium.
Well, Anita, I just presented the budget yesterday to the City Council. The budget is quite expansive. I think given the last 2 years and many of the challenges we've had, I think people will find that this year's biennial budget will have a lot of things in it that they've been requesting or asking for over the last several years. And we're hoping to find a way to continue our path to the financial health that we've seen over the last 2 years.
So I know that the city of Tacoma, as well as other municipalities across the country, have seen a lot of difficulty in the past couple of years because of the recession. Can you talk a little bit about how the city is dealing with those challenges?
You know, you're correct. I think similar to other cities around the country, the last several years have been very difficult on local governments. I think the council, as well as the citizens, have had to make some tough choices, ask some difficult questions, really evaluate the types of things we do, how much we do. As you recall, also, we experienced going into the current biennium, a $60 million shortfall when you looked at revenues and expenses. Quite frankly, this year is different. We've only experienced, as it relates to our projections, a $6 million gap we had to close, but it will still be challenging because there's still a lot of needs out there that the community has.
So what about enhancements to services? What can we expect to see there?
Well, the community can expect to see the city taking specific and strategic initiatives to move forward to find ways to address many of their concerns that they've expressed over the past, such as infrastructure improvements. We're funding this year in all city council districts funds for improvements to sidewalks, pedestrian crossings, ADA-related enhancements, as well as trails and bike paths are also being funded out in the community. Additionally, we're making some strategic reinvestment opportunities happen in the Lincoln Business District, as well as the South Tacoma Business District. We're also excited to reinstitute the Neighborhood Council's Innovative Grant Program in this biennium, as well as looking to improve many of our entranceways and gateways into the city with beautification and enhanced signage. And so I think beyond those improvements, we were also able to address quite a bit of the deferred maintenance on things that have not been occurring in the city over the last 6 to 8 years, such as vehicle replacements in our police department, improvements in the Tacoma Dome and at the Tacoma Convention Center, as well as doing things to improve our technology, to find better ways through technology to enhance the customer experience, as well as provide efficiencies with many of our operations.
Oh, it's very exciting. Those are exciting developments. So what's next in terms of the timeline for the process?
Well, having just presented the budget yesterday to City Council, there will, over the next several weeks, go through several workshops with my departments to identify and ask questions about the things in the budget. At the same time, we'll be out in the community doing community budget meetings similar to the last biennium. We're holding 3 this year, the first of which starts October 13th. It'll be held at the Evergreen State College from 6 to 8. The second will be on October 22nd at Wheelock Library from 6 to 8. And the last, October 30th at Lincoln High School, again from 6 to 8. And so that'll be an opportunity for the residents to come out and see if the input that they provided over the summer is actually reflected in the budget. So we're excited for people to come out and share their thoughts and views on the budget.
So in addition to the community budget meetings, is there anywhere else that citizens can go to find out more about the budget process?
Citizens can go to the city's website for more information on the budget process.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
After the break, we'll receive a report about Tacoma Public Utilities' efforts to replace aging water pipes. Replacing aging water mains is an ongoing job around our community. Disruptions during the construction are often frustrating for residents and business owners in the affected neighborhoods. Tacoma Water is using a new strategy to ease the disruptions and costs of those projects. The utility is trying to time water main replacements with other road and infrastructure work being done by cities in its service area. Here in North Tacoma, new water mains were installed at the same time the city had streets opened up to replace century-old sewer lines. Sharing costs for equipment and materials is just one of the benefits.
The savings are considerable. We can come in and we're only in the neighborhood one time and we can pave the entire street in most areas and at a lower cost than each coming in separately.
By increasing just the quantity of materials itself, you'll get a better and lower price. There's some duplicated costs like the mobilization and just overhead of having a contractor out here get shared between both departments.
Replacing old water pipes under our streets is an ongoing job for Tacoma Water. In order to reduce leaks and service interruptions, the utility also works with Pierce County, the state DOT, and City of University Place to coordinate construction projects. The University of Washington-Tacoma knows about coordinating construction too. At the end of September, UW-Tacoma opened the first segment of the Prairie Line Trail through its downtown campus. By next summer, the city will construct a connecting segment from Pacific Avenue to the Foss waterfront. That timeline has become much more definite now that the BNSF Railway has completed a donation to the city of the old downtown roadway property between South 15th and 26th Streets.
Well, the Prairie Line Trail, as you can see behind me, is a beautiful addition to our city, and it's extremely important because it creates a sense of community and connectedness that we currently don't have through many parts of our city. So for me, connecting all the way from 26 all the way down to the waterfront eventually, this is just going to be an exciting amenity for not only the citizens, but also the students of the University of Washington in Tacoma and the visitors that come to our city.
The agreement also includes the city acting to close several crossings and the authorization to expand the existing South 15th Street pedestrian bridge. A second pedestrian overpass will be built in the future. As you take a stroll on the Prairie Line Trail, you may notice a new campaign with ads on local buses, a website, and other efforts designed to encourage residents and businesses to grow more trees. The trees are a campaign to remind us that trees improve our lives by growing food and creating places to relax and play. Of course, they also provide shade on hot days, keep our water clean, enhance community character, and improve property values. The city is partnering with the county and state agencies on the effort. For help on planting your own trees, visit treesareamazing.org for resources and coupons. The changing leaves from the amazing trees around the city provide a colorful backdrop to take a walk at Old Town Dock. You may notice some new features. The new restrooms at Old Town Dock are open, along with walking improvements, a rain garden, drinking fountains, a kayak and paddleboard rinse station, and public art. These latest improvements follow last summer's more than $2 million renovation to reopen the dock. The work earned the city's Facilities Division a Stewardship and Historic Preservation Award for providing new life to a structure of great historical significance. The last piece coming this fall will feature interpretive signage designed by Chandler O'Leary to accompany her public art installation, Droplets. It will illustrate points of interest along Ruston Way and the water. After the break, we'll have a report about a unique location offering comprehensive services. Stay tuned. One local nonprofit has helped make services more accessible to residents by providing a space for community partners to work together to provide a holistic approach to domestic violence services. Megan Marquette has the story.
Good afternoon, Crystal Judson Family Justice Center.
The mission is simple: to provide victims and survivors of domestic violence with the opportunity to create a safer, more stable life for themselves and their children by providing comprehensive services. The Crystal Judson Family Justice Center has been doing just that since opening almost a decade ago.
Every month we have between 250 and 300 client visits to the center. When I'm asked the question, what kind of clients are seen at your center, I say it can be anybody that you might see out at the grocery store or anywhere in society, because domestic violence isn't isolated to one particular class or type of person. It can happen to anyone, and our clientele reflect that. There's a wide variety of services. We have a multidisciplinary group of folks here from all different types of agencies, both social service and criminal justice. So clients can come in and meet with an advocate for safety planning, obtaining a protection order. They can set up counseling and support groups. They can get spiritual support. We have a DSHS financial support person on site.
The center is a partnership between the Family Justice Center, local government, and other community providers.
Family Justice Center, the concept came about because we understood that victims in times of crisis have a wide variety of needs. And before the Family Justice Center existed, a client might have to go to 10 or 12 different agencies to get the help that they need. By coming together, by bringing a variety of professionals together, the client can walk through one door in a safe, secure location and get the wraparound services that they need to help move forward in their lives. The center is a very warm and welcoming place. We are a safe place for victims of domestic violence, as well as their children and their family members. Everything that happens here is confidential, and we will do all that we can to help support clients from here and beyond, as well as help support their family and their children.
You can find out more about the Crystal Judson Family Justice Center by visiting its website at aplaceofhelp.com. For Tacoma Report, I'm Megan Marquette.
You can find more information about services in Tacoma by going to the city's website. Not everyone has the expertise to provide services like those at the Family Justice Center, but there are other ways to give back. Agencies that help people in need in our region got a big boost from business and government employee groups during the recent United Way Day of Caring volunteer effort. Employees from Tacoma Public Utilities took part by lending a hand at the Emergency Food Network's Mother Earth Farm near Sumner. They harvested seeds, weeded, and helped get the farm ready for winter. The farm produces more than 150,000 pounds of organic produce for food banks each year. Besides helping on the farm, TPU volunteers also pack and distribute food each month.
And being able to support our customers in need is just one of those services we provide. And working in the food bank circle is really important to us because we want everybody to, if they're struggling to pay their utility bills, they're struggling to put food on the table as well.
United Way agencies, like the Emergency Food Network, are a major beneficiary of giving by TPU employees each year. Last year, they raised $170,000 during the annual United Way campaign. Volunteering isn't the only way to give back to your community. Providing your insight helps too. The city is spending $2.5 million in one-time funds on planning, designing, and constructing improvements to make the community more walkable. Last spring, residents talked the walk, helping to identify locations across the city that will be improved this fall and next spring. You can find out what locations near you will be improved by visiting the project page at cityoftacoma.org/walk and using the interactive map. The map is made possible through a service called Tacoma Data, which allows residents to create their own lists, searches, and graphs to meet their information needs. While all of the street improvements aren't underway yet, trick-or-treaters are encouraged to be safe as they're out walking. Trick-or-treating is an October 31st tradition, and to be sure to have fun and stay safe, follow these tips. Avoid trick-or-treating alone and bring a flashlight. Watch your step and only walk in areas that are safe, familiar, and well lit. Before donning your Halloween costume, get your purple on for the final Domestic Violence Awareness event. To close out Domestic Violence Awareness Month, the city is inviting everyone back to Tollefson Plaza at noon on October 31st for Courage, the Silent Rally. The closing ceremony will be a silent assembly of men in leadership, community domestic violence service providers, Tacoma city officials, and the public. Well, that wraps up this installment of Tacoma Report. A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Thanks for watching. I'm Anita Gallagher.